Hey everyone, this is Cindy at an open door. It's December 9th, 2024. There's a group of us here in a meeting that we like to call Where the Rubber Meets the Road. And it's just taking certain pointings from A Course in Miracles and discussing what to do with them when we get up off the meditation cushion or leave the meetings and start interacting uh, with others. I was guided, and it's a lot of energy moving through here. Um, I'd like to state that the topic and the idea for each week's meeting does not come from this personality. It comes through this personality. I'm as surprised as the next one by what happens. And lately, and I'll figure out maybe, I never know quite when it's going to show up the weekend before, but I tend to, there's a few of us here that gets the message as soon as I get the message. Um, and what I'd like to do, well, the first thing I'm going to do is see if Amy wants to say anything because she only has a few minutes. So we're gonna give the table to Amy, and then I'm gonna read the paragraph that I'm sinking into. And then there's a song I'm going to play because there's only one song that fits with this paragraph. And then I got a story to tell. And then we'll see what happens. But first, Amy, in case there's anything Amy would like to share.
I have nothing to say except I love you all, and I wish I could stay longer. I already miss you, and I haven't even gone yet. So have a lovely meeting, and I'll just quietly show myself out.
All right. So for those who have the purple book, it's not it's in the introduction. It's on page 38 in the introduction. XXXVIII. The first full paragraphs.
X.
And it reads,
Wait a minute. I can't find it.
Well, let me read it.
XXV.
No, three X's.
Three X's. VII.
8.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Here we go. Extension is the third and final phase in the course's program. Here, we take the same thought system we studied in the text and practiced in the workbook and extend it to others in the form of expressions of love. There are tears in these eyes. This benefits us as well as them, for when we give away an idea, like love, we strengthen its presence in our own minds. As the Course says, everything you teach, you are learning. Teach only love and learn that love is yours and you are love. Through our extension, the Course's thought system receives its final reinforcement in us so that it at last commands our total belief. The new world of meaning that we first encountered in the text has now become the only meaning that we see in ourselves and in all things. There's only yesterday, it was funny because yesterday when the thinking mind was thinking, I was like, I wonder what unique and new song I'm going to play. This morning, I was told quite clearly that there is only one song. It's the Beatles, Love is All You Need. And so let's do that. something I noticed in this video that I didn't notice this morning. It's just that this teaching states that the more you give love away, the more love there is. And there's that moment in this video where the Beatles started small and they were showing the number of people in attendance in their concerts as they continued to give more and more of themselves. It was a beautiful demonstration of the teaching. I will tell you right off the bat what I want to. I'm going to tell you this story that came to me this morning when I was sitting with this. Um, but what I am want to make, I don't want to be subtle about the statement that you don't have to wait to learn something or to obtain something new or to finish all the workbook lessons or to read this book. The invitation to extend love is with us all 24/7. And just making the decision to do that to the best of our ability continuously, regardless of how awakened we believe we are or how immersed we believe we are in our stories, makes a difference to us all. So that's, to me, the teaching. In the email that I sent to the list yesterday, um, I told a story of receiving that, right? I don't know if everybody saw the email, but essentially it's talking about, and it had to be 25 years ago, if not longer, walking into the mall, being all up in my stuff and holding the door open and receiving this smile from this woman in a wheelchair that completely, completely rocked my world. Just a smile, right? That's all that was. And here I am a quarter of a century later, and I could still remember the effects. And what's so interesting is the recognition that that being is, I live in a small place. So afterwards, I found out that she was a friend of a friend, whatever, it doesn't matter. In the moment, she was a complete stranger. She has no clue who I am. But that extension that came through her is something that has that created an opening in me. A number of years after that, so still well before I knew any of you. It was a part of the time where I was traveling with the kids. I was still technically married, but Dave was no longer coming to New Jersey with me. So I know they were probably middle school age. And I was at my mother's and then I was on my way to my sister's beach house, but I needed to get out of there, right? I was still very much about this person in an unhappy marriage, not sure of my future, with parents that didn't feel supportive, and two like middle school age kids, and um, I needed to get out of the house. And so there's a park in Bayonne that I grew up in, and they had recently built a boardwalk around Newark Bay, and I walked to the park, and I was walking on the boardwalk, and I was away, and the mindset, it's time to get back. You've left those kids with your mother long enough or whatever. And I was walking back, and coming towards me was a gentleman that I had never met, and he was walking very slowly with a cane. And he looked at me like he's walking towards the water. I'm walking towards home. He's walking at a snail's pace. And I don't even remember if he looked at me. I don't know what happened when we passed each other. But something here had me stop. Just stop. I think he probably just said good morning. And I found myself turning around, walking up to him and said, "Can I walk with you?" Like part of why I thought I was in a rush. So I don't know how long, 15, 20 minutes or something. I just walked with him and I listened. He had just gotten both of his knees replaced. He was living totally alone. He was doing his rehab. I heard stories about how he screwed up his marriage. Heard stories about how his sister's not talking to him because I heard stories about the time he was in the Navy. I don't like it went on and on, right? And I just sat there and I listened. That's all I did. And then I really did have to get back. And I looked at him and I told him I had to go. And he said, "Will you be back tomorrow?" And I was like, "No, I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm just passing through." And I kissed his cheek. And he just looked at me and he started crying. He said it was the first time anybody touched him in probably 10 years. And I've never forgotten that story either. And it was a gift to me, right? I have no idea. Like it wasn't the Cindy personality that was part of that experience, other than that I listened to guidance and I followed it. But something significant changed in the world in that 30 minutes. And so I there's a number of ways that we could do the rest, the next 45 minutes, right? This is the teaching that I have, though, is the one that ultimately, right here in the introduction, before we even get to page 1, the course states clearly that the secret sauce is being an extension of love, the love that created us. And that through that extension, we receive that love, like we open the door. And all the teachings tell us that this is an ever expanding cycle. There's no limit, which is what the video stated. I'd like to suggest that for the next 45 minutes or however long we're in this meeting, that we make our conversation as personal as we can, um, or as intimate as we can. I less about the specific words in the course and more about how when we've either been gifted or when we have found that we were part of what extended love, how it affected us. Or we can also share. Last Thursday, one of the things we talked about was the power of commitment and making a vow. And so we could also move this conversation in that direction, right? Pima Chodron, and a lot of that conversation focused around how powerful it is when we make a decision. And I wonder whether or not we can deepen into our commitment um, to extending and receiving love and whatever that looks like. I have no idea where these words are coming from, but they sound pretty cool. All right. Andrew.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here. Good to see you all. It says that we extend love through expressions of love, not necessarily through teaching it or talking. And I think that's the key, because I really need another form of communication. I don't do well with words, but I do try to extend love and to everyone. Sometimes I'm just sitting, like maybe sitting in an airport waiting at the gate, and sort of meditate and just extend love to everybody in the terminal. That's how I practice extending love. I don't have any specific stories in my mind right now, but that's you don't have to use words. That's the main thing for me.
And yet, so Andrew, I know that we don't see you on Wednesdays because you're volunteering your time somewhere. Yeah,
Yes,
isn't that true?
yes. Wednesdays and Fridays, I volunteer. I give tours around Orlando wetlands, and explain the animals and the reason the wetlands, it cleans the water and things like that.
You're connecting with
Yeah, I
your friends all
definitely,
the time.
yes, I extend love that way. But of course, I don't preach the Course of Miracles to people who come to the wetlands and want to learn about that.
But more and more, what I am recognizing is true is that the secret sauce is not in the specific programs. It's in our expression that, like you said, is not the words we use. It's the frequency that we walk around in and our intention. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
How's this moment, Chuck? You're unmuted.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear me unmuted. I don't have words for this moment right now.
I'm grateful for your presence.
I'm grateful to be able to be present, and I'm loving it.
Perfect. Hey, David.
Hey, everybody. A couple things come to mind. First thing is that I was having a lot of trouble with my cell phone, and it wasn't talking to my car, CarPlay in my car. And so I went to the car dealer, and they said, well, we don't know. And so I went to the Apple store, and they tested this and tested that, and I kept going out to my car and trying it. And finally they said, well, the only thing we can do is erase your phone. I said, and he said, you might have to download your apps again. Well, I little did I know that was a something. Don't ever do that. Just find some other way to deal with it. So anyway, what a horrible thing that was. And I turned to come to find out it wasn't my phone after all. But I have to go back to my car dealer and get it fixed. But my first expression, I think my expression yesterday was, "What a dumbass I am," and and then what was pretty neat about that, other than my wife called me on that, is that I didn't believe myself when I said that. And I said, wow, I was just thinking today that when I said that, I didn't believe it, even though I said it. I think it was just a reaction. I had to say something and yell a little bit. And so the fact that I didn't believe myself when I said that was really a big step forward for me to to have the love that I can extend. First of all, I can't give it if I don't have it. And so realizing that I'm okay, and finding a way to love myself is a big step in my life. And so the other thing is at church, I used to be on the board of directors and I was in charge of the building. I was in charge of all the building maintenance and all this stuff. And I was also in charge of all the greeters. And so I quit being the head of the building maintenance. I quit. Yesterday was my last board meeting. And and I've come to find out that I've been neglecting my job as a greeter. And so, in neglecting, supervising all the other greeters. And so, now that I've stopped all those other things, I go, wow, this is a big, important job at our church, way more than I give it credit for. And so now I'm going to start concentrating on that. And this is a vehicle that I can extend the love, that from myself and through the other greeters to the folks that come in the doors, especially the new folks. And so I'm looking at this as a great opportunity for me to do this. And I'm also looking for is a great opportunity to say, okay, David, you got to have some love here on yourself, or otherwise you will come across as a phony. And so it's like it works so many different ways to make my life worthwhile by making, giving to other folks. And so what an opportunity for me. So I'm this is just all working out. So that's all I have to say today.
Thank you. There's a real power in voicing our intentions out loud in a group like this. So I honor and hold those intentions. Looking forward to an update. Michelle, smiley face.
Good morning. Um, Good morning, everybody. I want to address Andrew. Thank you for what you shared. I really struggle with sharing just sharing emotions and day-to-day stuff I have no problem with, but I just really appreciate your share, and there are many times where I have to zip my lip and just say, I've learned actually recently within the last year, if I cannot seem to find the words to express, just to say, I love you, I love you, I love you over and over again, and I thank you. Or just to, I feel like, I don't know if you said this, but I feel like I heard it from you, just maybe encompass another or a situation with light. That's what I felt you were saying when you were talking about just loving. Our 17-year-old son and my husband went to Peru for some service work over Thanksgiving, and my son, our son, was calling and saying, "This is so stupid. I want to come home." And my husband had texted about 2 seconds prior saying, "Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone." I picked up the phone, and in that moment, I was like, this child, he needs to be heard. I have no idea what to say, and my husband worked so hard on this trip, and George ended up having our son George ended up having a great time. But in that moment, I thought, I get it. He's 17. He wants to be with his teenage friends here in Chicago. So I just was completely silent. For the entire 20 minutes that he was venting, and I just kept saying, I love you. I love you. And I thank you. And you're awesome. And I love you. And I just, and then I would quiet my mind and think about the light around him. And he hung up the phone there was no visible or palpable improvement. But I felt a lot of peace, but he was really mad. I mean, he hung up on me, but I thought, okay. And then that boy came home from that trip with so many stories and so much joy and a lot of bumps in the road because they were there a week. But anyway, Andrew, I appreciate what you shared, and and I can relate. And it is really comforting to know that the vibrations are that love is so powerful that words are not needed. Anyway, thank you for letting me share.
Some of the stuff that I've been looking at now lately, they identify love as a frequency, not an emotion. And I'm going to say it because I do it every minute. Richard and I both love Dr. Hawkins. Anything I can do to get him to laugh, right? But Dr. Hawkins looks at love pretty much in this, as a level of frequency that is very high. And there's a tremendous amount that gets done just when you hang out in that frequency and you set your intentions for it. So, what a beautiful testimony, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, Rana, I'm acknowledging your hand.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hey, everybody. It's good to be here. I love when Cindy picks something out from the book because I have not read this cover to cover. I've done the workbook lessons and then been guided over the past, few years or whatever to soak into this or soak into that. And so when she gave me this paragraph, of course, I start looking all around it, and I was like, oh, this is so meaty, there's just so much. But for the purposes of our discussion, I'm really drawn to the sentence that occurs right before the paragraph you read. It says, extending to others can take many forms in addition to these, but its essence is simply the giving of love, usually in very ordinary ways. And I was really drawn to that. As I was saying before we started, we had our holiday party over the weekend. And this year, my daughter chose to stay for the party. And it was the first year. Usually she goes and stays with her caregiver for the weekend, And it was interesting because at first, the first thought was she can't stay, What is she going to do? How is she going to be? Blah, 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 blah. Ha, I just did that. That's so funny. And then my husband also expressed reservations, even saying to her, I really want you to go over Diane's, So Saturday morning, she tells on him and says, Daddy hurt my feelings. She said, I'm an adult. I am 22 and a half. I can make my own decision. This is my house too. And so just pausing and getting quiet, I knew the next indicated thing was to just embrace the idea that she wanted to stay. And her caregiver came to the party too. So, basically all I had to do was like wave at her as I walked by, it wasn't anything, but I want to share what happened. She was very social and many people were going up to her and saying hello. And she talks and everything, it's hard to understand her a little bit, but after you jam with her for a few minutes, you get it. And a woman came up to me towards the end of the party and she said, I wanted you to know how much I enjoyed your daughter. She said, I would like to come back and hang out with her again. And she said she would like to hang out with me too. Would that be okay? And that's where the stories that I've carried so long about what I think other people think about special needs people, when really it's what I think about special needs people, And it was there in my face again. It was like, you don't know what anything is for, and the gift that she continues to bring into my life to see with Christ vision. You know, such a catalyst for learning. She's teaching me how to extend love, you know? And that's what this says, is that, you know, we teach each other this process. We bring each other through this process. And I mean, she didn't study A Course in Miracles. Like, she didn't need to. She just came here as an extension of love, you know, and I continue to be amazed and also very grateful for this space where I can be honest about that. You know, the false self-identity has some issues with special needs still today, but they're being healed. Those things are being healed. And it's because I feel safe to talk about them with you guys. Thank you for loving me.
Let no secrets be hid. I heard that once or twice. Living.
Of course, now I'm kind of all verklempt after Anna's beautiful share, and then I got to be a witness on Saturday night to Kylie's presence, and what a gift it was, truly, to everybody. And she blessed me with a hug and a kiss. And, you know, she said when I first got there and went over, she said she wanted to hug me. And then later on in the evening, I went by and she said, I want to kiss you. And I just leaned down and I got a kiss on my, it was just really, really beautiful. And, you know, Rana just created that beautiful space for all of that to happen for all of us. It just was really something. Oh, they're behind me. Okay. I was like, I know I had Kleenex around here somewhere. All right, I found it. And my concealer's gonna come off. Thank Ronna. But anyway, no, I just wanted to share. I had an experience the other night that I've never had before, and it was, you know, I was saying my nightly prayer, and I got kind of teary, and all that, and I just felt an intense love for the oneness, and said that my prayer was, I just love you so much, and I'm just so incredibly grateful. And you know, I was getting kind of weepy, but just the energy, the feeling in my heart, and it was just really intense. And then of course the thinking mind jumped in and was like, prayer is when you're supposed to pray for people and it's supposed to be blah blah, you know, and being able to say, nope, this just don't, nope, let's just stay here. And the love, I just have never experienced that before in prayer, to where I just wanted it to be, dang gummit, I love you so much. And I'm just so grateful. And and recognizing that that's okay. That's a prayer, you know, and just realizing how in love, you know, I am with the oneness, and at that moment really experiencing that was really something. It just was something that I never really had experienced before, you know, and the word beloved, you know, just sort of enveloped me a little bit. And so anyway, I just wanted to share that because it was just a new experience for me, and a new way of looking at prayer, and it helped me understand more and I could be saying the wrong names, but like Julian of Norwich and these other people whose prayers were all focused on, Dad gum, I love you so much. You know, you are my beloved. And I just, totally got that. And the energy I'm feeling right now, I just feel that for all of you, right here in this moment. Just my arms are tingling and I'm kind of tingling here. And it just sort of just want to reach out to all of you and just have the love shoot out my fingertips to all of you, you know? It's just amazing, and I just thank y'all so much for your guidance and your teaching and helping me grow in love. And y'all are just, yeah, I love all y'all. We are all that. So my saying that was saying that to y'all, So not that y'all were all in bed with me the other night. We're not going to go that far, but just, the energy and everything, just, yeah. So anyway, I sure do love y'all so much. And I am incredibly grateful for an open door and for all of you. So from my heart to yours, thank you.
Hey, Barbie.
Hey, I wasn't going to share this, but Livy said her hands were tingling and my hands too. Well, this all started, and I'm glad I'm here because I get to see the replays when I miss it, but it's not the same thing as seeing you guys in person. So last Monday, I have a Monday meditation from 7 to 7:30 all the time. It started last week. I mean, you don't know how the high vibrations you get from champagne flutes, but it's so high that it triggered something in me. I wrote another poem, and it's like the energy was flowing through me, and it lasted me all week. Because when I had Friday, I had my MRI, and I did have some pain during it. Then when I have my meditations, I mean, it was vibrating through me that I was experiencing love and I was extending love to everyone. I mean, so when I was in the MRI, I usually sit with the experience, but this was really bad. And I says, Holy Spirit, just help me get through this. That only lasted for a while and then it came back stronger. And I says, hey, I asked the wrong question. I says, God, give me the strength to make it through this. And he did. And I had a hard time getting off the machine. And by the time I came home in a half an hour, my back was fine. I was able to walk around. And then I listened to the reality check tape yesterday. And I was resisting it for something, but I loved all your experiences because somewhere in there, all I was doing was staring at that colored giraffe, which I do love, and the sky. And somewhere in there, after hearing your experiences, I don't know. I know it's like a flicker, it's flicked, but I know I seen it. I seen the giraffe move. I actually seen it move, and it's like, am I really experiencing? And I tried to get it back, but you can't get it back. And I said, okay, what I experienced was real. And it's like, oh my God, I'm doing this. And then this morning, I had another meditation. And in that meditation, but the champagne flutes, the high vibration gets me there. And then combined with what I was experiencing, I wrote another poem, but it had to do with reality check. I wrote about nothingness. I wrote about timelessness. I wrote about no boundaries. And it's like, where the hell are these words coming from? I used to write at the end, but now I write during it because the words won't flow. But it seems like when I write, I get back to the same place I was, and it's like, where the hell are these words coming from? And then an hour later, I did my lesson 343 about forgiveness. And what was it today? I will receive. Okay. Well, it was. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. Well, I found the peace of God in that. And then I says, okay, 3 synchronicities. I says, and I wrote an email to you, Cindy, and I says, something's good going to happen out of this because I mean, I'm in a flow and I'm just following it. So whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, I'm just going with it. And I'm so blessed to have the love that God gives me. And I extend it through my meditation, and I know everybody receives it.
Totally receive. Love us, Murphy. And I gotta be honest, at the beginning of your share and throughout this meeting, there was the sense that something and somebody was missing. And I was like, where has Nadego been? Because it's been like a week since I've seen you in a meeting. And the feeling was, if I'm not going to see you soon, I got to go find you. And then you showed up. So how are you, Nadego?
Hi everyone. I I don't know what oh yeah, I got hurt, or I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But I was in so much oh yeah, my body just went through so much stuff, and I yeah, and I was just in I don't know, I just let it just be. I just let it just be. And I was just in pain, and I just let it just be. I don't know, my body was just going through whatever it was going through. And I couldn't I couldn't oh yeah, I slept. Or no, I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep. That was it. I didn't sleep for 3 days. And my mind was just, and then but I just trusted it. I I just trusted everything because I know everything is here for me. And so, but now I'm back. But, you know, it's like I'm not in charge. God is doing it, so I trust it all. My body just had to go through whatever it went through, and yeah. So, but I love being here, and it doesn't matter what's happening. It doesn't matter what my body's doing. It does nothing matters to me anyway, because whatever's happening, it's perfect, and I don't need to understand it. I just need to just trust it because it's God.
No. Thank you. And thank you so much for being here.
I love being here.
Sandra. And you might as well raise your hand, Richard, because like, go ahead, Sandra. I'm sorry.
Richard can go first if he wants. No? Thank Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the love that I get to enter into when I click this link. I walk through the open door and here I am, like marinating in love. And that's it's just so nurturing and so beautiful. like Rana, when I knew we were reading this paragraph, I wanted to read more. And it just was so good. The introduction, I tend to skip over introductions. I want to get right into stuff. The introduction was so it just was like a bottom line kind of, this is the bottom line of this whole book. And a couple of things struck me, I wrote it down, as meaning we have assigned to the world falls away as we do this course. The meaning we have assigned to the world falls away, revealing a new meaning and a perception shift. And that definitely has been my experience, that I was walking around in this world seeing one thing, and now I see it differently. It's like, how to put words to it is always the question. It's as if I'm walking around in a different reality, but it's a sacred reality. It's not mundane anymore. It's full of this life that's so amazing. It's sacred. There's a holiness to it. The Course talks about holy instant. And then Cindy read that line of the new world of meaning becomes the only meaning, the only reality for myself and for others. So you asked for practical examples. Not any one example comes, well, one did come to mind. It was funny. It was a funny one. Yesterday with my husband. He's always my biggest challenge. And I'm his biggest challenge. I know I'm his biggest challenge. But he said something, and prior to, I would have given that a different meaning, prior to awakening. But now what I saw was, I didn't see grumpiness. I saw a call for love. And so all I had to do, whereas before it would have been, and then this, and then this, and then, ding, it was just hugs. I didn't even say anything, like Andrew said. I didn't need to say anything, just hugs. Words might have messed it up. Because the ego probably would get in there and just slip in one little word about my righteousness. So this new sacred reality is like, yes, extend love, be love, love me, know who I am. And then there's this little added dimension of love me when I'm most unlovable. Because it's so easy to love my grandchildren when they're hugging me and kissing me, and not when they're fighting, or saying mean things. So this idea of the sacred reality, that's the only words I can think of right now, is that extending kindness, extending love comes from a source beyond this form, and it always sees things as sees the beauty in all, and therefore it doesn't become a doing anymore. It's not like I need to sign up for the food bank, or I need to, it's not that at all. That I always used to do that. That was definitely egoic. I didn't know it was egoic, but it was. But now it's just a being. It's just a being and seeing meaning. Everything is different than I thought it was. oh, so great that everything is different than I thought it was. And then this beautiful season, you know, where it seems like more people get it, even if they don't know they get it. I am in awe of the sacredness and the holiness of pure reality. And I'm grateful for that. Grateful for each of you. Thank you.
And thank you for choosing to speak that out loud. It sounded so similar to what Michelle shared, you know, and it's where the secret sauce is, right? It's in those moments. Beautiful. All right, Richard. Lay it on us.
Well, thank you all for being so intimate and loving with this group. I love this group. I love all of you because we're all love. That's what we are in truth. And so I love to see the different reflections of love that each of you provide me in my experience. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. What stories you shared this morning. Wow. And my path has been for a number of years with the Course in Miracles was how do I integrate the thoughts and beliefs in the Course into my mind? And then once I got comfortable with some of the beliefs and concepts, then how do I embody these concepts in my daily life? And then how do I manifest these thoughts? And I remember in 2011, Regina Dawn Akers came here with a group of course teachers into St. Louis for a weekend retreat. And the title of the retreat was Be the Love. And with Regina then got me on the Be the Love track, so to speak, and that weekend. And so ever since then, I've tried to be the love. And a person that I like things, I like things to be easy. So I tried to boil the course down to what does it mean to be the love? So the course says, what you see in the world, what you see with your eye, is either love or a call for love. That's simple, right? So Sandra mentioned this. So whenever you see love, you just join with love and oneness. But if you see a call for love, then you ask for guidance because I don't know a damn thing. As I don't know what's good for me. How about I know what's good for somebody else? So I have to ask for guidance. And then whatever follows is the right thing for all of us. So I've been trying to do that. And when you see me turn my head like this, I'm looking out the window. And whatever comes into my view in the window, I extend my love to it. Whether it's a squirrel, a bird, hummingbird, a person walking the dog or a person walking, I just extend love. I send love to trees. I send love to grass. I send love to plants. So I'm trying to practice what I preach, so to speak. And the more I do this, the more I feel I'm receiving it, and more I'm in touch with my true self. So like you've heard me say, love everything. I love that Rupert Squire quote that I post on Facebook once a month. There are three possibilities in life: being something, being nothing, being everything. And the first, there is suffering. And the second, there is peace. And the third, there is happiness and love. So if you want to have happiness and love in your life, be everything. And I'm experiencing that. And the more I'm doing that, the more I'm loving everything, the more happier I am, the more alive I am, and the more easy it is for me to be the love that I am. Love you all. Have a great day.